Hi, my name's Tiffany, and this is my home in Oklahoma, so I'm an Okie, and I just want to welcome you to my channel. This is my very first video, so I'm learning the ropes on how to be a YouTuber. I am loving watching all of everyone's videos that they have out there with their home and gardens and all of those fun little things. So I'm hoping to really get into some of those things as well, because I enjoy doing all of those. So stick around, and today I'm just going to be working here in the kitchen, doing some daily chores, just what I do normally when my kids are at school. And so stick around and hope you have fun. Thanks. So I'm a little embarrassed. As you can see, I'm like almost appalled because of all the dust I have in this windowsill. So I'm just taking the time, because it's really starting to bug me, and get that cleaned up. And because I just can't stand the dust bunnies. I'm too short, I can't reach. I gotta get a step stool. So, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty tired of doing dishes by hands. I have been doing dishes for probably 3/4 of my marriage. We've always just lived in houses or that just didn't have dishwashers, but we've lived in a couple apartments, and we did have one house we had a dishwasher, I can remember. And so since we've lived in this house, which has been, oh gosh, 15 or so years, we have been doing dishes by hand. So I've never been able to grow my nails out or keep a pretty manicure, because I've always had to do the dishes by hand. So props to me for doing it for 15 years and sticking with it. So most nights I try to spend time with the kids with their sports or just hanging out at the house, watching movies. And sometimes I don't get to the dishes before bedtime, and so I'm sure a lot of people might do this. I don't know. I just always leave them for the next day while the kids are at school. It gives me time to get them done. So here I'm just scrubbing everything down. We don't have a hood over our stove, so I have to make sure we keep everything wiped down so the grease doesn't build up on our cabinets. So I'm just going through my shelves here, dusting, kind of organizing and putting things back where they need to go. We love fall, we love candy corn and the little pumpkins you can get. I bought my kids 2 bags of them, and my husband has pretty much ate one bag by himself. This is just what's left, so I wanted to put it in this cute container since there was nothing in it. So here I'm just gonna refill some of our containers with sugar. I bought too big of a bag of sugar this time. I really need to just upgrade my container and get a bigger container. We do a lot of baking and my kids love cookies, and so I try to keep a lot of sugar on hand, easily accessible for when I make cookies. And my youngest daughter, Bristol, she loves getting in the kitchen with me and making cookies. She's not a big fan of a lot of sweets, and she's not a big fan of chocolate, so it's hard to find cookie recipes that she will enjoy. We're still looking for anything that has oatmeal is normally what she tends to enjoy eating, so we try to incorporate a lot of oatmeal in our cookies when we can. I hate this corner of my kitchen. It seems to just pile up with things, and it's just a collect-all area. I don't really know what to do with this space, but it's not really functional for us. But I don't have any ideas on what I can do to improve this area. So this is a cute little cabinet that my mom had picked up for me several years ago. I think it was for a wedding anniversary gift. I can't remember. I haven't had the heart to replace it with anything else. I do like it. But one day I'm hoping to replace that there with new cabinets, uppers and bottom cabinets. So I live in a pretty old house, and the original part of the house was built back when our town was incorporated, and so it was just a one room. I believe I was told it was a church at one point, and so with an outhouse, and then they have built onto this house numerous times. And so that's the living room. That's the original part of the house. And I'm standing in the second addition to this house. This is one of my daughter's rooms right there. And so everything has either got the 70s paneling that's been painted, and we've also taken it out. So these are, I don't know when these cabinets were put in, but they had sliding doors here and here on above the stove. And when we rented this house for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, and the owners wanted to sell this house, and there was no other houses on the market in our town. And so our kids were established in school here. We had nowhere to go. They sprung this on me when my husband was on a deployment, and so we had to have them work with us on that. And then so when he got back from, I believe he was in Iraq, it still was the only house available in this town for sale. We do live in a very small town, so there is very few rent houses, and we lived in one of the very few at that time. And so we finally had to just buy this. We didn't want this house. It needs a lot of updating. So we just kind of cosmetically painted a bunch of stuff, painted the cabinets, tried to kind of make it presentable, but I think it was a couple years ago, we repainted these cabinets, probably the 4th time since we bought the house. We bought the house 10 years ago this month, and so I've painted the cabinets numerous times, and now they're due for an update. But I'm trying to convince my husband to break down and just buy me some cabinets and get them installed. This little cubby here was where the refrigerator is originally supposed to go, and we have yet to find a refrigerator. We have tried numerous times to find a refrigerator to fit in this slot, but then it would be too small for our family. We have 5 kids, so growing up little, I needed somewhere to put 3 or 4 gallons of milk at a time. We always kept a lot of milk on hand, so that was too small. We once had a little stand-up freezer here at one point too, and I don't know what was going on with that. We had some problems with it tripping the breaker, and so we had to move that out. We since fixed the problem. We found out what the problem was. We had a weak breaker, so I can actually probably put that back in here. It is also gray as well, so it'd kind of go with the cabinets, but due to the fact that we don't have any counter space, and these are all the cabinets that we have in our kitchen, we had to figure out something to create space. So my husband was at work one day, and I had some scrap wood, and I decided I needed to make something for our microwave, and so that's how this was figured out. I also had to be able to have it hook up to an outlet somewhere, and so this was really, there's not very many outlets in the kitchen. There's a couple here, but this is the only spot in this kitchen that made sense to do this, so that's why this is kind of wonky. And it's not great, but I mean, it's serving its purpose. And so and then we have our pots and pans hung up, which I do not like that, because I do not have pretty pots and pans at all. I think they're ugly. Maybe someday I'll get some really nice set. I have a mix match set. I'm sure back in the day I had a complete set at one time, and I don't know what happened to it. And so, I bought this set, I think at Hobby Lobby, probably 3 or 4 years ago, and and it had been in storage. I could never figure out, I loved it, but I never could figure out where I wanted to put it. And so I finally decided, you know what, let's pull it out, and because we have no room for our pots and pans. And so let's get this in use, and it's okay. It's serving the purpose. It's kind of farmhousey, and then I have all my spices. We have a garden, and so we have parsley and cilantro and all kinds of different things up there. So cinnamon, some bulk spices that I don't keep over here. These are our normal cooking spices that we use we're using one of them every day. So anyway, and so one of these days, yeah, might convince my husband to get me some new cabinets. But back to the issues I'm having with these cabinets right now. Number one, we had to take out the sliding doors. I hated them. The kids hated them. And believe it or not, they're not very deep. And the problem is some of my dishes would stick over where the track was, and I couldn't close the doors. And so I thought, well, I'll make it kind of cute. And so I tried to put tin up behind, like rusty old tin, to kind of give it a farmhouse feel, but I don't like that either. And once I got that one sheet, I realized how hard it was. And so I just painted the top. I never put any more. But these cabinets are becoming an issue. They are solid wood, but I don't know. Anyway, so they're starting to pull apart and come off the wall. I don't know if you can see that over here against the wall. So I'm trying, and up there, I'm trying to convince my husband to get me some cabinets. So I just made some makeshift doors. They're not pretty, but they hide all the junk inside, and we are full. And yes, we use everything except those 2 bowls up there. We use everything in this cabinet. Lots of noises, lots of squeaks. So one of these days, I'm hoping that maybe we can have a beautiful kitchen. This right here is kind of a weird little shelf that I had to throw together. This actually was a full cabinet that came down to here. It was a pantry, and it also had sliding doors, and then there's great big cabinets up there, which are practically unusable because I can't even use them. So we have seasonal items that we use during the holidays stored up there, and as you can see, the doors don't shut because it's not a deep cabinet, and there's plastic containers and things up there for holidays, and it's not going to shut because they're not big enough. So the cabinets aren't big enough for what we need them for. But so I ripped out this, kind of made a makeshift, like I don't have places to put our appliances, and so this has had to become our appliance storage. And because our refrigerator does not, again, fit over in that designated spot for a refrigerator, we had to, probably not safe, but run an extension cord over to our refrigerator. We also had to run the water line up and around the door, behind, and anyway. So, I don't know, we've been talking about redoing our kitchen. We have these old tiles. I don't think they have whatever you want to call it, asbestos. I don't know what it's called. I'm hoping they don't have that in there. We haven't tested it, but maybe someday we will have that done. But for now, we haven't even painted the ceiling once, but I'm hoping maybe one of these days we can get that tested before we pull that out. So anyways, so this is my outdated but functional kitchen. It's getting us through many years with all of our children. So anyway, see you soon. Bye.